listeners, Harika here, and I'm super excited to welcome you to UppTalk. If you're ready to learn and get your hands work wonders in the world of information technology, then you're in the right place. When I say UppTalk, we are not just another edtech company. Consider we are your learning partner committed to unlocking your full potential. Whether you're stepping into the world of technology for the first time or looking to advance your career, we provide top-tier, hands-on courses to build up your career. Let's take our first step towards learning here and explore it.
Today, we will be working on the content management system. Also, we discussed about data extension and a list how we can import the customers into data extension manually, like entering customers in the contact builder and importing the customers to the CSV file. That is something that we have already done it yesterday. We use a data extension quite frequently, very frequently. Perfect. We use the data extension quite frequently because for most of the campaign executions, we will be using a data extension here. Sometimes we use a data extension for storing the content to bring the personalization from the data extension directly. That is also something that we also be using the data extension for. We were talking about shared data extension. We discussed about Enterprise 2.0 edition. When we have the Enterprise 2.0 edition in Salesforce Marketing Cloud, we will have a top-level business unit. Under the top level, we will have a lot of child business units. Each and every child business unit may represent a country or it may represent as a separate entity. For us, when you have a kind of an edition in your Salesforce Marketing Cloud, you can share your data extension with your neighbor business unit. Shared business unit. We will come to the audience and shared audience. Here we create the audiences. Here we have the audience below. We don't have a license for it, and this is not also a part of a program which is not included in the curriculum. Audience Builder. Let me give you an overview of what is Audience Builder. Let's imagine that your organization has a data in AWS or Microsoft Azure. They have the data in one of the centralized repository. Using an audience builder, you can connect the SFMC directly to the storage service. Either it can be a Microsoft Azure or AWS anyway. What happens? Since it is connected directly to the one of the storage service, your data is going to be real time. Here you can create a segmentation example customer whose active country is equal to India. You can put all of these conditions directly in Audience Builder. Then you will be able to bring those customers into SFMC. When you create a segment and when you publish the segment, those customers will directly come to the audience folder. When we create a segmentation and then publish it, they will directly come to the audience and share audience folder. You can share it as exactly what we have done it for sharing the data extension. When we create the segment and publish it, they come here and then you will be able to share it. Same it goes with the shared publication list. This is something that we have already discussed about it yesterday. Suppression list. This suppression list is a manual process. What we have here is a manual process. Here you can create your suppression list and then include the customers who needs to be excluded from your email communication. Same as a publication list, you have to pick up this suppression list at the time of sending. Here, let's say we have a two suppression list. I'm sending an email to a customer. I have a sendable data extension. It has a 100 customers. While I'm sending, I need to pick up the suppression list. If two of these customers exist in that sendable data extension, then they will be excluded. How do we create a suppression list? It's same as what we have done it before, same as a publication list or list. I just have to give it name. Exclude the customers. Here we have the suppression list now. As we discussed, this is a manual process. If you want to exclude the customers manually, you can directly come to this suppression list and then you can import the set of customers who needs to be excluded. Here you will have to upload with the 4 fields from CSV filer, mail address, subscriber key and subscription date and unsubscription date. Reason: this is all. 4 of these fields are required. When you upload, we will have to tag this suppression list at the time of sending same as a publication list. Perfect. Let's jump into content management system where we will create the email template from scratch. I have a question on that suppression list. Yes, please. When you add someone to the suppression list, are they also removed from the? Can you just hover over the profile? I think the profile list. Profile management. The publication list. Are they also removed from there or are they removed from the subscriber list? Remove. What does suppression list mean? That you will not be sending any emails going forward. Whichever the customers that we have in the suppression list will not be getting the email from us. But records are still going to be in the system. It's going to be in the system. It can have any status. It can have an active status, it can have unsubscription status or bound status. It can be anything, but it's going to be there in the system. Is it like for a time period that it is going to be suppressed, or is it like can you move? This is a list which we have manually created. There are some cases a customers may revert back to your email. Please remove me from the email communications. There are manual records that comes in. Those customers, we add them directly into the suppression list and then we exclude those customers. It's a completely manual process. I have a question. When you're in the process of sending the email that you're going to show us, that you're saying is that we would send to the list. Let's just say the list was 1000. It was a data extension. We would send to the list, but then there's an option to also include this suppression list to get rid of the mails that we don't want to send to. Exactly. At the time of sending, we have to include this suppression list, and that's when they will be excluded. That happens during the email send process. Exactly. Perfect. I'll wait for you to demo that perfect. Thank you much. Perfect. We will be checking out how we can include the publication list, how we can include the suppression list at the time of sending. Once we create the email template, we will be looking to the campaign execution side of it. Perfect. Great. I will quickly check the data extension which we have created yesterday. I have 5 records in this data extension. I have first name, last name, gender, country, phone number, and all of them. Perfect. Oh, I have 5 dummy records in my data extension. We have pretty much covered on the subscriber management side. Let's jump into content management side now, and then we will see how we can create the email template using multiple content blocks. We also have the same kind of a folder structure in the content builder. We have a content builder. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we used to have the classic content builder. This was the older interface where we used to create the email template and work on the content blocks and all of them. Now, that is not being used now and it's a red tide. We can create the folder structure same as what we have seen in the data extension. We can create what we have is a local content. This local content will be accessible only to this particular business unit. When you move this content into a shared folder, then, and if you give up permissions to a certain business, this content will also be visible to your child business unit. Each and every business unit can have their own local folder structure, and then they can maintain the email template, email messages, different content blocks, portfolios. Everything they can manage everything in the local folder. I'll just quickly create a folder structure. Perfect. When we are in the folder, we will be able to create the templates, message content blocks, and we can also upload the content. But suppose if you would like to upload a content like an image, like a PDF file, you can just directly click on content. You have all of these images. These are all the images that I have in my local system. I'll probably pick up one of these and I will upload it here. There's one logo here. And if you would like to upload any image or any portfolios into a content builder, you can just pick the file from your local system, upload, open it. Here you have a upload and publish. Once this is uploaded, you have short uploaded contents when you click on it. Now this has been uploaded. When you open it, it will create a unique URL for it. And this URL can be referenced in any of the third-party websites also. And if you would like to use this image anywhere, we can also use it. And now we can start including these images in the email template, cloud pages, social media campaigns, and anywhere wherever that we would like to use it. Because this image can be used in a cross-platform and this is hosted publicly, it can be used in the different channels, and the same thing, it can be also used in a third-party channel as well. And this is how we import the images. If you have the PDF, it's the same process. Whenever you import an image to an SFMC content builder, what you have to make sure is you are uploading the content which is less than 200 KB. That's the best practice that we have with most of the organization. If you are trying to upload more than 200 KB, sometimes it will give you a warning. Sometimes it will not even allow you to upload the content. There are some restrictions which we can set in the SFMCE. But usually it will give a warning like if you're trying to import more than 200 KB size. It's basically like if you upload some MB to MB data and then if you use it in email templates, that's going to take a lot of time for the end customers to open this email. That's the reason the best practice is to keep less than 200 KB. Perfect. Now we know how we can upload the content. Here before we create the email messages, I would like to show how we create the email template. Email template is nothing, but it is a skeleton of your email. Skeleton, in the sense it will have your header, it will have your footer, it will have the designs and everything, all but it will not have a content. How do we create this template? Whenever we have to send out, there will be plenty of templates that we may have for in the SFMCE. One template will be representing the product XX, another template will be representing a product YZ. We will create a template for each and every product separately. And whenever we're sending an email, we create an email message. We pick up this template that we have created. It will have the skeleton for that particular product. And then we just have to add the content and whichever the images that we would like to include, you can include all of them and then we send out the email. Now to create an email template, there are two ways. Either you can paste the HTML or you can create from an existing template. When you say paste template, and also I want to tell you that we don't really, as SMCE campaign specialist, we don't really create an email template from a scratch like by hard coding. We don't do that. As a SFMC specialist, how it really works is until and unless. If you are a web developer or an email developer, then you may have to play this development also. Otherwise, it's not required. In most of the organization, in my experience and how we have been working in Email Studio, is it's really that we come up with a new template first. Second thing, in case we come up with a new template, we have the web developers internally who will be helping us to create the new email template. Those person is responsible for creating the email template, which should be responsible for all the devices. It has to be responsible for desktop, laptop, mobile devices, and mobile devices also for various screens, different set of screens, tablet. The developer is responsible to give you the source code. He or she will develop the template and then he will share the source code with you, and you just have to copy paste here, and then your template will start reflecting here. And then this is only a skeleton, and then you can start using this template to create your own message. What you would like to keep the images, what is the content that you would like to add? That is something that we have to do with. That is something we also going to be see, how we can use all the content blocks here. Let's create one template, and then we will use this template for use cases. We create a template. In case if any one of you here does have the HTML experience, you are free to work on this, creating the template from a HTML template. And I can also suggest you, there are some websites where you can find the email templates for free. There are some simple skeleton template that we have in the Google, which is for free of cost. You can also copy and paste them here, and then you can create your own template. Now let me pick up one of the existing templates which we have already in the system, and they are replicated. These three of this tab is from the Salesforce. Basic empty theme. In the basic, we have a lot of basic templates, which is again from a Salesforce. And in the empty, we will just have only the layout. And we have a themed. This is also a template. These are also templates, which is a mobile friendly and which we have from Salesforce. If you don't want to use any of this default template that we have from Salesforce, we go with the saved one. And these are the templates which has been created by particular business unit users. I'll just go with some one of this. I'll pick up this one and I'm going to replicate this. It says it does not include any track opens and all of them. This is a general error that we get when we are replicating. Click on. This is a template for us now. Perfect. Here we have the content. Here we have the messages also. We have the header and all of them. When we save this, and you will be able to start using these templates when you create the email message. Let me save this. I'm going to store this in this location, and I'm not sharing this template with other. Business unit description and customer fee. Now this template has been created. We can start using this template at the time of creating the email messages. There are only two ways of creating the templates, and here we can see the template. I'm going to create an email message using the template that we have created. Whichever the templates that we have created, it should be there in the Save tab. Here we have the basic again empty, themed and saved. When I come to this folder now, I can see the template which I have just created. We can create an email through a template, or we can also create through HTML. HTML is going to be a source code. When you have the source code, you can just directly copy paste the source code here, and then your email template will be ready. That is the second option that we have. Only. There are sometimes we use only the text, only campaigns. Example for transactional emails. Transactional emails will not have any images. It will not have any interactive designs in all of them. It will just simply a text message saying thank you for purchasing the product and your order has been placed. You can expect the delivery and on. That doesn't have the image content, all of them. In that situation, you can use this text only. And then we also have existing email. In case, if you have any email which you would like to use it again for email execution, then you can pick up the email that you have created from the content. I'll go with the template now and then I'll pick up the template which I have created. You can create an email from all of these 4 ways. Template HTML text only existing. If you're going with a template, you may have in the system already, which will have the templates created for each and every product and service. Suppose if you're sending an email for X, Y, you will have already a template. Go to the template and then pick up the particular template already. And then it will have only the skeleton like header folder. And then we just have to add the content. For this case, it has all the content. This is how someone has created. It's not a problem. But in general, this is how it works. It will have only the skeleton like a header, footer. Here we have the name of the email. This needs to be unique always. We cannot have a duplicated name because these email names can be referred using SQL. We can write a query and then figure out how many opened that we have based on the email name. I'll just say Kumar. We can give the description. Here we have the location. Now there's something called campaign. This part is purely for reporting purpose. Here you have a campaign folder, a campaign tab on top of it. When you click on it, you can create your own campaign. This is basically helps you to improve your reporting analytics reporting. It will help you to give you a more accurate result. Let me tell you how it's going to help us. When you create a campaign and then you can associate this campaign here in this email message. When you do that, when you send out the email campaigns to them, you can fetch the report based on the campaign name that we're creating here. I'm creating one sample campaign name called Office 2022. Description, you can give a calendar label deployment date when it's going live. I'll say 15th of February. Campaign owner, you can also leave it blank. Or if you are the campaign owner, you can also just get the campaign owner name here. Campaign code. In case you have any unique campaign code specific to this campaign, you can also ask. There are some organizations which they will use a naming convention tool. That will help you to create all this campaign name, campaign code tags, and all of them. If you are an organization using them, you can give the campaign code and tags. Otherwise, you can leave this to this option fields. Now this campaign is created. What I will do is once I create it, I will start associating this campaign code here. My campaign code will start reflecting here. I need to refresh this tab. Let's save this And we can also include this campaign name in the latest stage. Here we can include the campaigns. If I just have to include it, save and exit. Now this campaign is tagged. In the later stages, we may use the same email template multiple times for sending out the email campaigns. This same template. We may use it 2 days and after 3 days and after like 6 days, 7 days. We may use this email campaign multiple times. Using this campaign name, we can fetch the report for past 10 days and then we can see how is the performance based on this campaign name. It's kind of a filter that it will allow you to apply in the analytics build up. It's mainly for reporting purpose. And most of the time, the target language used to be UTF-7. I have experienced sometimes the target language sometimes used to be UTF-16, sometimes used to be ASCII for different accounts. We just have to make sure the target language is UTF-8. Suppose if you're sending an email campaign which has multiple translations, like a Korean language, Chinese language, Russian language, like a different language has different coding encoding. In order to support all the languages, Unicode UTF-8 is something that we have to keep it. This is a universal accepted code. See, if you are like only working on a Japanese email, then you can just pick up the target language as a Japanese. In case, if you're working on multiple languages, then I would suggest you to go with the INI code. Puff. And the last one is the parameters. I'm not sure if you have worked on URL parameters. Here we have this URL parameters from Google. Here we have what exactly we are doing here is creating the URL parameters in the email campaign. This is the URL. Now suppose, let's say in the C tab button you have some link, probably from Amazon.com. And you have a campaign ID in case. If you have a campaign ID, you can give, for example, what is a Source Marketing Club? What is a Medium Email Studio? What is a campaign name? Flip Office. These are something that we have to feed in here, same way we have to give it here. Parameter 1, let's say Marketing Club. Parameter 2, let's say like an Email Studio. And then parameter 3, you can say the company name. It can be like a Flip Office. A parameter 4, it can be like campaign ID 13045. You can give the parameters. Now what happens is when customer clicks on this Amazon.com, the URL will become like this. This URL provided is not valid. Amazon. And here you see this. It started. Now it has created a campaign URL. It says HEPS Amazon.com UTMM sources equal to Marketing Club. Medium is equal to Email Studio. UTMM campaign is equal to Flip Office. U_squad is equal to 2345. This is the URL parameter that we create. If I just open, if any of the customer open this is how it looks for them. But in the back end, we will be able to track where are these customers are coming from. is this customer? By looking at these parameters, all these parameters will be loaded into a Google Analytics. And then what happens is in the Google Analytics, we will be able to track. This particular customer has come from marketing blog. The medium that he or she has come from is the email studio. And the campaign code is, and this is how Google Analytics will be able to track by looking at the parameters. That is a reason we are using these parameters in the email template. You may send an email to like 1 core of customers or 2 cores of customers. When customers click on any of the link, it will go to a landing page. In the landing page, we may have the Google Analytics or Adobe Analytics implemented there. When you have this implemented, then you will be able to track. The Google Analytics team or Adobe Analytics team will be able to track. These customers are coming from Marketing Cloud emails to your campaigns. It will be very easy for you to relate it. All these parameters will automatically add when customer click on any of the C, D button. This is quite important. This is optional setup, but it gives you a more advantage when you give all of these parameters. This is basically help you to a tracking purpose again. When you have a Google Analytics and when the Google Analytics team says, I cannot track how well the customers are coming from, especially if it's from Salesforce Marketing Cloud or not. Then if you add the parameters and they will be able to track and tell you these many conversions happen from email marketing, email studio, and these many visitors that we have from email campaigns, all of them. Now we can see this. It's created the same template here, and we will be able to start using this in the messages. Let me check if I can add. This does not have any layouts. Just give me a second to try and add if I can. This does not allow. What I will do is, I am going to create a new email dumping. I just showed you how we can create the email template. We won't be able to use this because it is not allowing. It does not have any empty layouts. I will create one from scratch, email message. This time, I'll use the one of the default template that we have here. I'll just go with the basic one. I'll just go with this. Let's give you a name here. Just give it a name here. This is from 2222 description, location and campaign, and the UDM and the target language and parameters. Exactly same as what we have seen before. I'll create this email message now. Now we have all of these layouts created. These layouts are from the static templates that we have from the Salesforce. Now here, if I look at this is an image content doc and this is a text content block. This is a CTR button. One of the good advantage of using the email studio is that it gives an option for us to use the drag and drop option. Here I can just drag and drop them. Then I'm able to start using them. In the email messages, I can add my content. I can add the HTML. I can add the free forms. I can add the course number and everything that will be able to start doing it here. All we just have to do is drag and drop them. Perfect. Here we have the subject line. I'll just give the subject line here. Blind you 50% of using this code. We have the pre-head. I'm just randomly coming up with the subject line and pre-head. We know where does the subject line and the pre-head looks when we trigger this email to the customers. The subject line and the pre-head will be like next to the from address. We'll be able to see this subject line and the pre-head on the very first. This really matters a lot when you need to have a good open rate. There are two things which is like really important for good open rate. The first one is a from name, where this email is coming from. Second thing is your subject line. These two factors is really important for the open rate. That's why we have a lot of precautions taken here. Then we don't really use any of the flashy words here. Example like a free sale only available for today. Something like that. If we use a flashy words in the subject line and the pre-head, there is more chances that your email may go to spam. Or you may be blocked. We will always use to avoid this flashy keywords in the subject line and the pre-head. Now we will look into each and every content block. We have a basic, we have advanced. Here we have a button code snippet, freeform HTML image block and text. If you like to use the image block, you can just drag and drop them anywhere. All this is also image block and this is also image block. I'll remove this. And now you can. When you click on it, you can browse the images from the content builder. When I click on browse, here we have all the folder structure that we have created. I just uploaded one content before we started. I'm going to just click on this logo and just import it into the email template. And this looks big. I can also rescale it here. I'll say probably 200. Now I can also change it to resize the images here in the template directly. In the classic content builder, we have to work on the HTML. If you have to change this dimension, you have to type in the HTML, and that's when you will be able to control all these dimensions. Now with this content builder, you can control everything here, and if you like to add any borders, if you would like to. If you have the borders here, if you like to add some border, if you like to do image padding, if you like to do this alignment, and if any of the customer clicks on this link, if you would like to take them to a particular link, you can also add it here. You give it a URL and then save this example URL. Same as the CTL link that we gave. Now, when customer clicks on this link, they will be directly taken to viewamazon.com. And we have also a block sitting here. This is again a very basic one. If you would like to add a color to a background, now it's in a black color. If you'd like to give a color to a background, and then if you'd like to add a border color to this image, Then you can also use these block settings here. And what is the border width? And you can also put the spacing between this and this content block. This is the content block that we have here. Everything that we have in the interface directly. We don't need to really play around with the HTML. This is something which has been improved in the current content builder version. Previously, we will have to do everything. All of these changes and we have to do it in HTML. Now it's kind of like a little more better. And suppose if you would like to make some changes also in the HTML. We have this HTML source code here, and if you'd like to change any of them, here you can also do it. Suppose if you'd like to change the width, if you'd like to do the spacing, and now it goes to, when you click on it, the reference taking you to the Amazon.com. And if you'd like to change the URL, you can change them here directly in the HTML also. And now we have, this is a source of the image, src representing the image. This is a URL of this image that has been uploaded. Suppose if you would like to use a different image, then you can just put the URL of the image here directly in the HTML. Same, it goes for height and width. Height and width is 200. That's what I have changed to try. And if you're going to change them here, you can also do that here directly. And when you probably say done, and we should be able to see. Now I think I don't see like really a big change. Image, suppose you need to upload it, then you have to give the URL. Yes, exactly. We need to upload it. Suppose if you are using external third-party images, then you can also put the URL directly here. Will it work? Third party. If I use third-party URL, I can put it here. Is it fine? Yes, it's completely fine. It's completely fine, but we have to make sure that this particular image is not being removed from the third-party server, like as long as we use this image template. I'll just keep it as the 200 itself. Now I can see it looks a little better. Now, this is how we use the image. Here, if you like to change them, you can just directly click on replace and then you will be able to replace the image with another device. Content block. Here we have the text and then we have the CD button. Text is same as what we have here. You can just directly drag and drop the text content block into this layer and then now the text version is added. Here you should be able to add your content. Welcome to the organization, something like that. I'm just going to come up with something. I'm coming up randomly. Here we also have the interface to change it. I'll keep some of the text. Now you can also bold it. Then perfect. This is how we add the content. Same way in case if you like to add the difference between text and freeform. These two works in exactly the same way. A freeform will allow you to also include an image. You can see this difference. Here you see the small image, content block. Here you see your content. In case if you would like to come up with a content along with the image and also in a content, you can also use a freeform. And if you see the difference for text version, you will see only the text in the content block. Or you see only this content block here. You can add a content. You can just modify however you would like to want to look. The content needs to be aligned. But here in the free form version, you can include also image and also the content block. And this is the main difference between two of them. But how it works is pretty much same as content block. We just have to add the content. Now we have an HTML here. There are some cases. We as an organization, we come up with a customized content block. In that situation, you can drag and drop them here. One example that I can bring is there used to be a timer that we used to. It's called Sentry, I believe. This tool will help you to create an email countdown timer. Example, the offer is expiring and on. It will give kind of a running time in your email. All you just have to do is give it the email address. Time zone. Let's just go with random time zone. And when this offer is ending, probably I'll say on Saturday 12th. And the email background. And then you just pick up the one of the background. And then you just click on agree and generate it. Now this countdown timer is created. You can just copy this embedded source code and then you can directly put it in your HTML template and just copy paste them here. Now it started reflecting your content, HTML content, here directly in the email template. There are many different use cases. You may sometimes want to come up with the HTML forms. HTML form. Here we have the HTML. There are plenty of them that you can find it online. Or just go with this. Form with the checkbox. Or just take this one. I'll put it in the email template instead of this. Now you have the form in the email template. Suppose if you are coming up with the custom content block in your email template. And that's when we use this HTML block in the email template. You can also host this content somewhere else, and then you can bring them directly here. Also put the URL, and then all the content will start reflecting here. Now this one HTML version, and then the external content block. Here you have this external content block. Both of them work almost the same way. We have this HTML content blocks, and we have the again text content block and all of them. Now what is something that we have missed is button. Button is already something that we have here. I'll just add one more button. This is nothing but the CDA. We call it as a call to action. We come up with a creative CDA text here. Example, click here to line your coupon. There's something like that. We can come up with a CD, a button, and then we have the font, size, color, and all of them. Just go with some random colors here and where it needs to be aligned and what is the background for it. We will be able to control everything here. And then here, like when customer clicks on the CD a button where this customer should be taken to. Here, we have that here in the link option. It can be either your website, it can be your secured website. It's a HTTP. You can also take them to an email address when you say mail to, and then you can give an email address here, like a Kuma, a plate of Tescom. When customers click the CD, a button, it will directly open the compose message in the Gmail or like Outlook or the default version that we have for your local system. That will open automatically. You give this email address to. We have also plenty of other options, microsite that we have in the cloud page. All of them are present on the cloud page. Forward to a friend document, anchor to text, and we have plenty of this option. In case you might have created a different set of cloud pages in the Web Studio. And in case if you would like to use them, you can also use the microsites, cloud page microsites, and the landing pages. This is something that we are going to be covering in the upcoming session, how we can create those microsites from the scratch. In case, if you would like to use them, you can also pick them up directly from here itself. Now it's loading the sites. It has plenty of the microsites that we have created. You can pick up one of them and then page under it. There are many pages that we can create under the microsite. What is the difference between landing page and microsite? Landing page is a standalone page in Salesforce Marketing Cloud. It does not have an interlinked page. But on the other hand, microsite has an interlinked page. Example, if you go to a Microsoft.com, you will see a career page. You will see a contact page. You will see a mission page, mission about us, about the company, about the CEO. We will have a lot of tabs. It all interconnected. When you click on it, the URL does not change. It will be same URL but / contact us, / career page. Just only that sitemap changes. That is the microsite. If you would like to create a microsite, and if you like to use a landing page, that is something that we can pick it up from here. You can also give the copy the URL of the cloud page, and then you can also directly put them under the secure website. You can just copy paste the HTML, the URL of the website directly here. That is very simple. Perfect. Now the CTA button is ready. I will again say Vuvamasoni. Just go with something randomly. This is only for the title and tracking alias. This also really helps you in case if you like to track them in the analytics build-up. But it's not a mandatory setup. If you give a title and tracking alias name for this particular link, it will show you when you extract the report from Analytics Builder, you will be able to see what is the title and what is the tracking alias at the time of exporting the report. But it's completely optional setup that we have here. I think we have covered almost majority of the basic content blocks. Now I would like to start with the basic AMP script functionalities. In case if you would like to pull the content from your data extension. What if the data extension has the empty records and you want to show a default value? How do you achieve this? I want to start with the basic AMP script condition. Slowly we will get into a little more complex AMP script in case, if you like, to show these customers into a Salesforce CRM directly from a Salesforce marketing. How do we do that? The first thing, it's very simple that if you like to bring the content from data extension, all the content, it has to be from your sendable data extension. Whichever the data extension you are going to be using for sending, we are going to be bringing the personalization here through the fields. Or now let me add some personalization here. Suppose the same time, let me also open the data extension which we are going to be using for sending out the email. This is the data extension which we are going to be using for sending the email campaign. Or let's open this data extension. You can use the fields only that we have here, subsequently first name, last name, gender, country, date of birth, email and phone number. These are the fields that we can use it for in the email template. We cannot use the other data extension, or then you have to use a lookup condition in AMP script. That's when we will be able to bring the data from other data extensions. Otherwise, we won't be able to use it. Now we are going to be looking into the basic personalization from the sendable data extension. Now let's say that you would like to bring the first name into the subject line. Hide percentage. Put the field name from the sendable data extension. It has to be exactly the same. The case, it's not case sensitive, but we cannot keep something like this. A percentage close it. We cannot say like a first space name. Then it will be throwing error for us. We have to keep the same character on the field that we have in the sendable data extension. Now, if you'd like to bring any other fields like in the email template, you can use this. Any of these columns in the email content, and then you can add the content to the app and then you can preview it. Now let's click on preview and test. When you click on preview and test here, you should be able to pick up the data extension by clicking on this folder. I'll go to this data extension. And this is the data extension. I'll just pick up the first subscriber. I'll click on select. Now it says Kuma. First name is Kuma. Claim your 50% offer using this code also. Offer only for valid for 2 days. Now it shows the content. If you would like to add the same personalization somewhere in your email, that is also something like possible for us. Let's say like if I would like to add a content purchase value like into the email template. Here what I will do is I'll remove this block. Here I say thank you. For your purchase. For your shopping. Your purchase value is. And now use this personalization percentage. If you'd like to bring the value of the purchase value into the email template, we can copy, paste them here, and then close this simple personalization tag. And now if I just click on, and then if I go to preview and test, it will preview from the sendable data extension. If I just scroll down now, it says, "Thank you for your shopping. Your purchase value is $90.53. It changes for each and every subscriber." Now I have the same value, same purchase value for all the customer. That's why it's showing now. This is how you can bring the values from the sendable data extension. This is a simple personalization. If you would like to bring the data from different data extension, that's when we use the lookup condition. And that is something we will check that in the upcoming session. Like we'll be able to cover from the basic stuff and then we'll go a little more upwards. And what if you don't have a first name? I mean, you have the field. But in all the subscribers that I have in this data extension, I have the subscribers. I have the first name called Kumar. One of the subscribers does not have a first name, it's empty. Here you have to show. Instead of showing an empty value, you have to show some default value here. And how you can do that with the AMP script. Here, what we can say is percentage. Percentage equal to. If you would like to check if the particular column is empty or not, you have to use this function called AF. It's same as the if condition. If empty first name field, if first name is empty, then give default value. What is the default value? That I can say is hello. Put this percentage. I mean, you have to put in a double quote and then command. If first name is not empty, show the value of a first name. Close this bracket, equal to percentage. This is how it shows the value for a snap. Now what it say? What this condition does is this ETF condition will see if the first name has an empty record. If it's empty record, then it will be throwing a default value that we have here. If it does have a value, then it shows the first name here directly. This is what exactly we're doing here. Now let's click on done and then let's preview this and let's see how it looks for us. Since it has the value of first name, it shows the first name directly here. Probably like just quickly create one record. Without a first name. The same one, we can use it anywhere in the email. There's no restriction. The same kind of purchase value that we can also add it here. Here we can also add the if condition. We can say, all come to that point. Let's create this if condition now. Data extension. I'll keep it empty. They are both. I'm going to keep it as something randomly. This is the number. Purchase value. I save this subscriber. Now it has the first name and last name empty. And if I just pick up this data extension again, I have to reselect the data extension. That's when it shows the updated context. This is the one which I have added now. Pick up this. Now it shows the default value because the first name is empty for us. Now it shows the hello there, claim your 50% offer. This is how we can use the AMP script conditions in the email template. What if I have to use the same condition in the? I can convert this into an if condition also. One thing to remember, we have to always add the AMP script conditions in the header. The best. You can also use the text version. You can also use the free form to add your AMP script condition. But what is something preferred is the code snippet. Drag and drop the code snippet into your header. This is something that you always have to do it. Whenever you are coming up with an AMP script condition, you always make sure that you put your AMP script in the header. And then if you scroll down why we are doing this is whenever we send out this email, your header content loads first. Your AMP script condition that you have created. It will be created and it will start working, and then the personalization will start reflecting for your in-date email template. That's why we always put them in the header. If you put it in like a footer or somewhere, the personalization that you have above the content blockade will not work out for you. Now we always start the AMP script with to send, open the bracket, close the bracket, send. And this is where the code condition comes here, in between these two of these syntax. Now let's convert this same condition into an if. Now what we are saying is give empty first name. Then set at the rate of first name is equal to in the double quote, hello there. Else set at the rate of first name is equal to first name. I just translated this if condition. I translated this into an if condition. I'm doing the same process. I'm doing the same procedure here. I'm writing if first name is empty, then set the first name. This is a variable. I'm creating a new variable called first name. I'm setting a value for this. And for this variable set is equal to hello there. Else set first name is equal to first name. This is the field name from a data extension. This is a variable. Now I can print this variable anywhere in the email template. How I can print this variable? Whenever you start with at the rate of something, that it's always a variable. Any of the something is starting from, like a drive queue, something like that. This is a variable. I can print this variable anywhere in the email template. And how do we print it? Is suppose now we don't need this. I'll remove this completely. Starting from here, if you have to print this variable, Put percentage equal to value of the variable that you would like to print. The variable that is first name. Close the bracket, equal to percentage. We are just directly printing this variable into the email template. This is something that I can do it anyway. If I click on done, and then let's preview and test how it looks for us. It says I have missed the if in diff. Whenever we use this if condition, we have to close this if condition. That is something that I have missed out. To do it in diff, now my if condition is closed. Now let's preview and check if there are any errors throwing now. Now, since this first name is empty, I'm seeing the hello there as a default value. Let's go to the next customer. Now this customer has a first name. Now it shows the Kumar. This printing the value that we can do it anyway in the email template. First we will have to declare the value for it, and we will have to then we will have to put the variable into the email template. Or we will go little more one by one. The first thing that I'm starting with the basic stuff I want to show how this personalization does work in email template. And now we are just using the basic if condition. I think we are in the edge of time. What I'll do is I'll wind up here. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@upptalk.com.